I don't want to be rotting in a box and probably a suit that I'm going to hate. So no,
right?
I don't want that.
Put you in like a tank top.
Right. Or something comfortable, some gym shorts or something.
Like, do not put me in a suit. I would not wear that. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Normalize This, the show where me and some white man, I'm just playing.
Hey, everyone. I'm some white man.
The white man of the hour.
Yes.
Me and him discuss whether or not ideas, trends, and behaviors should be normalized in everyday society. And I'm Danielle Young.
And I'm white man, Adam.
Adam White Man Ribbon. Oh my goodness. Well, I had to add some levity because today we're going to be talking about death. And that's not the lightest topic in the world.
No, it's not.
Whew.
But I'm excited to talk about it because I think we're going to have a really great, like we usually do, have a great conversation.
We be talking, we process things, we share. I be sharing my heart with this podcast. I'm not even sure y'all realize like how much I bleed on this podcast just for you.
Yes. This
emotions.
Podcast is
Everything.
very bloody because of Danielle.
Mostly because of me and my feelings.
I mean, I do my best. We chit, we chat, we bleed. And also, we need you to bleed with us. And also, you have to stick around after we talk about death.
I feel like they're like, we're going to stop listening right
They're like,
now.
Good night. But we promise, it's gonna get a little deep, a little dark, but it'll get a little dark. But we'll turn it right around because my favorite segment in the show, Keep It or Curb It, is in the second half. So you make sure that you stick around. That is where Danielle and I famously keep things, or we curb them and get rid of them.
Yes,
from society as a whole,
and it will never be seen or heard from ever again.
Ever. We've banished many things in society.
Yeah,
out here.
Honestly. But Adam, before we go into all of it, please tell me you have an actual fun fact this time. Because if y'all know, Adam's fun facts are usually about things that he's drinking. Or I forget.
Sounds fun.
I forget. I think it's usually things you're drinking.
Yeah. It is. I usually stick to what you know.
Yeah.
I have a fun fact though. This is not. Okay, this is the first thing that popped in my head. Obviously, I have, a full week to think about something, and I've spent zero minutes on it, but this is what just popped into my head. So I still know how to do cat's cradle with like the string.
What?
Hey, Danielle, are you there? Was that too fun for you?
What is a cat's cradle?
Oh,
should I know what this is?
I think it's like
white.
No, you shouldn't. I don't know if it's white. I think it's like nerd, and you're not nerd.
Okay, so what is a cat's cradle?
Okay, well, what isn't a cat's cradle? First of all, second of all, it's like this piece of string that's like connected. So it's basically like a loop, right? Like a lasso, if I may, without the tail. Are you catching my drift? It's a circle of string. Okay. So then you put like part of the string around like your pinky and your thumb on both hands, and you like pull it out, right?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I didn't know that had a name.
Well, I think the thing is that a lot like some of them have different names, but the one is like Jacob's Ladder. That's the one I can still do. And a cat's cradle is like one of the like shapes you can make with the string. And this was a pretty definitive moment in my 9 to 11 years old life of being able to do Jacob's ladder at a moment's notice. And I realized the other day I picked up like there was some piece of string and I tied it together and my hands just magically kept moving.
It was muscle memory.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was like an out of body experience. So that's my fun
Into
fact.
a cat's cradle. I know what you're talking about now, but I never knew it had a name. And I also didn't know that there was like a myriad of ways to do it.
It's a lifestyle choice.
Yeah, I'm trying to jog my memory to see if I could like see the shape people would do when I would see someone do it, but it would only be one thing. It wouldn't be a bunch of other like types.
When this is over, I am going to find that piece of string and I'm going to send you a picture. Yes, I'm going to cradle you.
Please cradle me, but leave the cat out of it.
So now that I've embarrassed myself.
That was indeed a fun fact this time, Adam. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. There are more and I'm willing to open up.
Yeah.
Finally.
It feels, very, that's a
raw?
very aged, no, it's a very like you're telling your age kind of fun fact.
Completely.
Because it reminded me of like a specific era of time and like that. You remember when like people would make those lines on notebook paper and they would draw
3 on top, 3 on the bottom.
And they would draw out the S.
Yes.
That's what it like put me in the mind of.
That was it was a time of corded phones. It was a time of those things that like, you took a square piece of paper and you kept folding it until you could like pinch it and move it back and forth.
Where you play MASH and you write like your crush, where you want to live, how many kids you want.
Yes.
All those times. Good times.
They were good times. Do you have a fun fact relating to those times at all?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of my nostalgia because I have told y'all that I've color guard captain. I've shared that. Your girl was really loving that in high school. Ooh, maybe my first crush. Okay. It's like celebrity crush. Because y'all won't care about me loving this kid named Dominique. But
I mean, I kind of care about it now, but
he was so tall. Oh my God. But no, so my first, like, I'm writing the name in the notebook. Like, I actually had a folder dedicated to this crush. Like, you remember the folders that had the little metal prongs and you could put paper in it? And
1,000,000%.
Yes, and squeeze it. And then it had the flaps. And so you could put the other stuff in the flaps.
Yes.
I would love those when I would be turning in a report. Yes. I mean, like, I'm putting my report in a folder. But yes, I had a folder dedicated to this crush. Do you want to guess who it was?
How old are you?
Wow. Rude.
I'm really gonna give it how old are you at the time? At the time of this
I was
crush?
Like right now. I mean, I'm not embarrassed of my age, but at the time of the crush, your girl was in the 7th grade. I don't know exactly what my age was.
Okay, I'm like painting a picture for myself.
Maybe I was like 12, 13. I don't know.
Man, woman.
It was a man, a white man.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. The plot thickens.
Yeah, it does. I go, all right, I'm leaving. I'm uncomfortable. Okay, a white man. Danielle is 13 years old.
Yes.
I'm going to go with, was it? Now, this is kind of a shot in the dark. Justin Timberlake?
Was he even around? Was he there? I don't remember loving him.
Yeah, that's fair.
But he very much not the era.
Okay.
But my crush was actual. Do you want to know?
I do want to know, yes. I'm done guessing.
It was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Damn it. I knew.
Oh my God.
Was it Titanic?
No, it was Romeo and Juliet.
Oh my God. That was a really good one.
It was Romeo and Juliet that like really flooded my heart. Another one was Andrew Keegan. Do you remember Andrew Keegan?
Sounds so familiar. I'm going to have to do a quick
You have to Google him. He was so gorgeous. I loved him. He was, what movie was that? Was it 10 Things? No. He was like in that era of movie, 10 Things I Hate About You.
That's it. He was in that movie. I agree. I think he's very cute.
Yeah, Freddie Prinze. I loved those guys. Those like rom-com. Heath Ledger was one of them.
When I was younger, before I was like, oh, you're gay, I realized that my first crush was Billy the Power Ranger, the blue Power Ranger.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes. But I always thought I had a crush on Kimberly, the pink one, but I realized that
you just wanted to be her.
Yes, that would be correct.
I would just like to be the Pink Power Ranger.
I'm like, she gets to hang out with Billy all the time. And I'm just like, I just want to be best friends with Billy. No,
You wanted something else from Billy.
I wanted Billy, yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, no time like the present.
Now let's talk about death.
Listen, shout out to one of my favorite podcasts other than Normalize This. Death, Sex, and Money, because there's a tagline where she talks about like basically these are all things that everybody experiences, but nobody's really talking about. And death is one of those things I can't really say like I don't talk about it unless I'm joking about it.
Oh, completely. I only joke about it 24 hours a day.
It is really like one of those things. Obviously, we all have to face it because we're all going to die. Mm-hmm. Like we're all going to die, period.
Or we won't.
We're going to live forever. And we all have experienced death in our lives in some way, shape, or form. And it's like, it used to be very scary to me.
Yeah.
It still has its like, but I'm not as afraid. I'm more afraid of the means. I'm like, please don't hurt.
Yeah, it's the means that I think scares me the most. And I think like the death part, yes, I'm scared of the unknown.
I'm like excited about the unknown.
I'm scared of it, but I am excited.
It can't be over. Like, no, even if you don't believe in the religious part of it and you're simply like, I don't think that just because you don't believe in religion, you're like a science person, but like, what's the other thing that you believe in? But like, even scientifically, energy doesn't die.
Right.
So I know that we die, our flesh, but like our energy, our soul I think, to me, still lives.
Oh, I so believe that.
I'm not like the most devout of Christians, but I do believe in God. I still think like there's certain parts of the Bible that talk about the end of the world and how the dead in Christ shall rise. And I've always been like, oh, so if people are dead and like of Christ, AKA like they are saved, they are people whose souls are going to, heaven, and they have to rise, where they rising from and where they going? Like, what's happening? So I've always been hella intrigued by like what happens.
Yes.
And like where it puts everybody. Like, I lost my birth mother really early. And I was a baby. I was 3 years old. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, like, am I actually going to see her again? Like, what does that look like? Are my family members going to know me? Mm-hmm. Do you think about that?
Oh, I think about it. Yes, I think about it all the time. I'm curious because I think everybody has a theory. So my theory is that like, I believe that like there are people who like have lived past lives. And I believe that like, this is this isn't like what I'm not writing a book about it. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like,
don't like listen to us with a notepad this time.
Yeah. If you're a lawyer, in one ear, out the other. But I think that like people live these like former lives to like learn more lessons.
Very
like there's
everywhere, anywhere, everywhere, all at once. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like there's other planes, there's other something.
I don't know. I think like there's some. It can't be over. I don't believe that it's over because there's some bigger reason. Like we're so small on the scale of like. If you pull out like a Google Maps and you like zoom out and you're like, oh God, the United States is big. And then you zoom out even more and you're like, North America is big. And then you zoom out even more and you're like, Earth is so small.
It's so tiny.
It's impossible for me to believe that like
that's just it.
That's it. There's just one little tiny
bunch of silence on Earth.
Yes,
but
it's impossible.
Way, I don't know. Like death, it makes it feel like having that kind of view. It makes it feel less final, and I think that's what used to really scare me about it as a kid is that it felt so final. I remember my birth mom's funeral in like, flashes. Like I remember seeing her laying in the casket and being confused. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to interpret that as a kid that age, but I just remember like being like, wait, what?
Oh my God. That's,
because
awful.
It's like my mom. And then I called my aunt, who is my mama now. She's basically raised and adopted us. Like, I was just like, I'm so lost by this. And then I always remembered anytime like she would talk about my mom and stuff like that, it would just be so sad. And so I just always equated death with sadness. And I also lost my brother when I was in high school. And so, and my best friend, like a year later.
Oh my God.
And it was so just awful. Like, every time I like had death happen, it felt like insulting and like rude. I'm like, there's so many other people like that are doing bad things. Like, why does God or whoever this is want to come for the people that like I need?
Yeah.
And so it just felt like it felt unnecessarily mean and final.
Yes.
Especially how my mom, she had cancer and was sick. And it was just like a gradual losing her life. And that's so like, and my brother, he was murdered. That's such a like, That's why I think I obsess over like anytime someone dies, celebrity or friend or family member, or it like a friend who posts a family member or someone they know, like I get very obsessed with like what happened to them. And like, I don't know. It's just like I have this like need to like understand or to like wrap my head around like maybe did they have a final moment? Like, I don't know. It's just like that connection between like, or like that little piece of time or moment between like they are living and they are not.
Yes. I totally know exactly what you're talking about of like, what is that moment like for them? Did they get that moment? Did they know what was happening?
Do I get a second to be like, hey, God, I'm good, right? Like, I just like do it.
Yeah. Or like, are we doing this?
Is this for like, real? Do you get a chance to be like, oh my God, this sucks. Like I'm dead. Do I know I'm dead?
The thing that gives me like kind of peace is like, people talk about like I was dead on the, like obviously my education is based around watching TLC and people talk about I was dead on the operating table for 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And they always talk about that like flash or like it was like the most euphoric experience that they've ever had. And
I'm felt like blissful or whatever.
Yeah.
It could be true, but I'm not sure. I know people have definitely died and come back. That has happened medically a lot.
Yes.
I've even heard people like say it like personally. I'm like, really? That happened? But I just don't know if we would be allowed to remember the things that could happen in that space. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, you're on a whole nother level when your body is no longer here. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like you are allowed access to that. And then you come back. It's like you in the waiting room, sis. You ain't even in the real part.
Right. I know. It's so strange to think about. Okay, Danielle, I have this really big question now. I can't even like trail off of my old thought because I have this new one that I have an intrusive thought that I need to tell you about. Do you believe in like mediums and people who can speak to the dead?
Sort of.
I do.
In a way, because of the whole energy not dying thing, which could lead to spirits existing. and I do believe that is possible. Just in the sense of just spirituality, like there are evil spirits, there's good spirits, but I'm like, who are the spirits that are left here? Like, where are they? Like, why? And why are they here? And then when you hear about people like feeling like their spaces and stuff is haunted, I don't know if I believe that.
My theory on like evil spirits are like that's energy that's like been trapped. Like they didn't finish like that process that they need to go through on like Earth, or like there's unfinished business, or like there was something like that didn't get
plot
done.
Of a movie for you.
Yes, that I'm writing.
There's unfinished business, and they're stuck here, and
it's you and me holding a magnifying glass. Yeah.
No, I do believe, I don't know. I don't know, because it's like, do I believe in like evil spirits and people, being able to be possessed by them and stuff like that? I don't know. Do I believe in the purgatory idea of spirits?
I hate that.
Yeah, I don't think that either. I feel like cosmically and spiritually there's a ability for like that type of stuff to happen, especially going back to my original biblical point of the dead rising.
Yes.
Are they rising from here? Because they all here if they're not like somewhere else. You know what I mean?
No, I totally know what you mean.
And what if you like die and it's like actually not over? I'm really, really intrigued. That's why I say I don't think I'm actually afraid anymore, mostly because like I have had a really like amazing life. And so I wouldn't be like, dang, I'd be sad to go. I would be sad to go. Don't get me wrong. But I would be like, wow, I'm glad I got to experience this. Is there something else? If there was nothing else, then I'd be like, oh no. Like, please, I don't want to go. Like, God, hear me out. I don't want to go. I want to be like 90.
God, hear Danielle out.
Hear me out. I want to be 90 and just go to sleep.
Yes.
That is the most ideal for me.
I mean, I feel the same way.
I don't want to call it exciting is what I'm not trying to do. But
it's intriguing.
It's intriguing. What do you think is actually happening for us in the afterlife? Do you think you're in one of your afterlives right now?
Okay, if I'm being like totally open and honest and bleeding, what I believe that like I feel like I've had past lives. I feel like I've had past experiences because I have these very like infrequent feelings of like deja vu of like I've gone through different experiences or something, but I feel like I'm on my last life.
That's so sad.
No, it's not sad because I just feel like I'm on my last one, and then I'm going to go on like the big journey on like when it's over. Yeah.
Interesting, I think. Because what is this big journey?
I think the big journey is like, I don't know. I feel like that's when like God makes sense, that like we're all sort of connected through like our different energies or something. And that like we come back to this like energy. Does that make any sense? It makes sense in my head.
No.
So what do you think happens?
I mean, I really think that we somehow will like reunite and be able to see the people that we've wanted to see, the people we've lost and,
that's what I mean.
Loved. Because I really refuse to believe that that's it. Like I don't get to see my mom and brother anymore ever. Like I don't get to meet them as a grown woman, like so I'm really intrigued and hopeful that something like that is doable, where there's like this huge gathering party situation where you're reconnecting with those people on certain, like on tiers. So it's like definitely the people that you've lost that you wanted to see. And then it's like, your people that you love and you're like, oh my God, like we're here, like you're dead, I'm dead, oh my God. And then like the people that you've always wanted to meet. like
Yes.
Marvin Gaye, Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
And then it's like a whole party situation. But I don't actually know beyond my party what happens and how we continue forth. Do we get to like, quote unquote, live again? That's why like reincarnation has always been interesting. But I believe in some form of that, like in the whole I've lived lives thing.
Yes.
Because otherwise, energy not being able to die wouldn't make sense to me.
Agreed.
Spiritually or scientifically.
And when I was saying like we get back to this energy, that's kind of what I was trying to say, but I was
forgetting
without
what words were.
That, you know, when you're like, will I meet those people again? Will I see my friends? Will I see my family again?
That's like a romanticized version of how we deal with death. Like that when we'll see you again one sweet day. Like it's very comforting, but
I believe that like your energies like are reunited because they were so in sync or together while we were here. That's what I think.
Right.
You know what I'm saying now?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm hopeful that is one of the things that happens in death. What about like thinking about it when it comes to like your family members and your loved ones? Like we got to this normalized topic from an episode where we were talking about, you know, normalizing parenting your parents. And that conversation led to like us talking about their deaths and how we would handle those things or what that would look like.
I think when I think about it, there is some maybe reality where like I will be reunited with that person again, or they're looking at like down at me, or they're helping me, or like they're guiding me through something. I have this like weird situation. When I was younger, my great aunt passed away, and she was like another grandmother to me. So she was always over my grandmother's house. It was her sister.
Mm-hmm.
They were just, you know, two peas in a pod, always together. And then she died really suddenly. There was like a wedding in town and all of the family was there. She like passed out at the church and she died like 2 days later, which was like very her, because everybody was there and she somehow made a wedding about her,
like, it is
which was
my time.
Right, which was so kind of incredible. But when she passed, my dad got some of her stuff, and it was in our house.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this one photo of her, like when she was really young, like in her 20s. She passed away when she was like in her mid 70s. And we had like this alarm in our house. And to turn the alarm off, we had to set it off every morning because just, you know, my parents didn't want to get a second keypad like upstairs to be able to turn it off. So we had to, you know, trip the alarm every morning, run into the kitchen, turn it off. And so there was one morning, and I knew exactly the step in the stairs, like on our staircase that I would get to that would trip the alarm. And I was all the way up at the top. And before like I was close to the stair, the alarm went off. And I remember that like, I was like, oh, that like frightened me because I was like, is somebody down there or something? And so I looked and I could see this like smoky silhouette of my great aunt, like from that photo.
What?
And I could see her like sitting in this chair in the corner. And as soon as I was like, what is that? It's so like, it's very hazy. It looked like sun, like haze in that area. And as soon as I was like, oh my God, is that like no? And as soon as I saw that, I saw her like look up, and it then just turned into like haze and it was gone. And that is like my only experience of like ghosts. But it always has stuck with me where it was like, it was hard to distinguish, but as soon as I figured out what it was gone. And so I always felt like it was this little sign of like, she's going to be with me. She's, you know, going to help me. She's going to be there if I need her. Like I have like someone looking over me. And so that is like my only experience of that. And so that's given me a lot of peace of when I've had friends pass or other family members pass, of like, I feel like that energy is now with me, and I will miss this person, but they're not gone forever. Like that energy is still with me.
Yeah. But I think you can, it's so beautiful to be able to have that type of peace and comfort. But sometimes we don't really get the chance to like say goodbye because you can't plan death in a lot of senses, And so
Yes.
it's like those regrets, the things that were left unsaid, the things that you maybe wish you could have told this person or, things like that I think about sometimes, especially when like I live so far away from my family. So, phone calls and FaceTimes and stuff like that are important, but I am not with them physically. And if something were to happen, I would be, it would feel so like, oh my God, I don't get a chance to be there until it's over or, it's just like something like that is always on my mind
Yes. I've had like 2 friends who've like committed suicide. And it was really tough because I wasn't in like everyday contact with these people. But it was like kind of one of those friendships where as soon as you see each other, it just picks up where it left off.
Yeah.
And I always was like, oh my God, like I had seen them pretty recently and I remember them saying something a little weird to me of like, yeah, I just don't know. Like there was, they were going through like a rough time and they were like, yeah, I just don't know like how I'm going to get through that. And it feels weird to me now, but like in the context of the conversation, it was like, you'll be fine. You'll be through, like, you'll get through it. You always get through like,
yeah.
And I just am like, oh God, were they wanting to like open up and I didn't, and I brushed it off and it just, it was that was tough. And so I relate to what you're saying in that sense.
That is really tough, especially when it comes to that type of means of death. But to anybody who, has felt that way or has experienced that, someone's committed suicide that you love, I feel like a lot of times people can take that on and be like, oh my God, could I have helped them? Could I have saved them? But don't take that on. That is a big responsibility and unrealistic for you to feel like you can actively save someone's life when it comes to that. And so it feels like a burden that people carry, if they feel like they could have helped someone or at least been there for them or,
Yes. Yeah, it was definitely like a confusing thing to go through, but I knew that like at the end of the day, it was so much bigger than anything I could have felt or I don't know, it's just very difficult that you have to like let go of that, of thinking that like, it's not your own responsibility to take on.
Are you like planned for your death? I feel like with the organization that you have in your house and your life, it's not planned out.
No.
You don't have all your affairs in order, your wills executed.
No,
I don't have any of that. So I'm not even speaking in like
in a derogatory tone.
No, it's
to me.
like, can you do it so that you can tell me what to do?
Yeah, I mean, no, I haven't. Do you know, I actually know somebody who specializes in like wills, and they said that the best legal advice they could ever give anyone is to not make one.
Just let them fight it out. You're not there.
Let them fight it out.
You're not there. Y'all can do what you want. Listen, I don't have an estate, but I hope by the time that I perish that I do.
Yes.
And so I do believe that I'll have to, have all these things planned out, but I also just want to like give it all to my best friend and have him like divvy it up to my family because I love them, but I'm like, y'all are going to it would be a mess.
Yeah.
It would be a mess. So I feel that like don't do it. Don't do a will. Just let them do what they're going to do.
Yeah, let them battle it out.
Yeah, I'll make sure my mama is taken care of if she outlives me.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, listen.
Yeah, I know the people in my life would do the right thing. They would just make sure certain people were taken care of and whatever. So like, I'm like, let's just go with that. And I'll continue staying unplanned for now.
Heard. It's not irresponsible or anything. It's just
interesting. It's just weird.
People, listen, that's also very much a unlocked memory of death for me and experiencing in so many ways at a young age is like my mom was one of 13 and she was one of the ones who, made a life for herself, made a career for herself, and she put money away for us, and she, was able to have some cool material things while she was here. And in her death, I've heard so many stories and things, but my family was just really, her siblings were just really grubby.
Yeah.
Grubby about who got what, furniture, cars, jewelry. And it always made me feel really icky about death and how people would handle people's things and how they would want the things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, ugh, really?
Okay, wait, Danielle, I want to know, have you ever thought of like, when you die, how do you want to be buried? Do you want to like get cremated? Do you want to...
I have thought about this.
Okay.
My mom's not a huge fan because I do want to be cremated.
Yes.
I don't know why Christians, I don't, maybe it's not a Christian thing. Maybe it's just my mama. But she is really not feeling the whole idea of me being burned to ashes. But I'm like, girl, what's the alternative is me in the ground with the worms.
I know, rot in a box.
Just
I don't want to do
in a box.
I don't want to do that.
I literally want to be cremated and given to all of my jet-setting friends in little vials that can also double as jewelry.
So cool.
Right. Then they bring it, to various places that they travel and sprinkle me.
Yeah. I love that.
Please make sure that is done if you are around.
I want to be cremated as well because like I think about it and I was like, I don't want to be rotting in a box and probably a suit that I'm going to hate. So like, no, right? Like, I don't want that.
Put you in like a tank top.
Right. Or something comfortable, some gym shorts or something.
Like, do not put me in a suit. I would not wear that.
But I was like, the whole part of like, you go into like that oven and they burn you. I'm like, what if you're still in there? And it's just like, that's going to be really hot. But then
you wouldn't be in there.
Well, so the thing that I learned is that it is so hot in there that like as soon as the body goes in, the skin melts almost immediately.
Right. So like even if you were to somehow make it down there alive.
Yeah, it's over. Truly.
It was meant to be its very final destination.
Yeah.
But seriously, like I do think it sounds gruesome, but both ways sound gruesome. And the whole thing, if it's a biblical thing, it's ashes to ashes.
Yeah, dust to dust.
That sounds more on the nose for me to be cremated.
Yes. And I'm like, don't buy like a nice, beautiful wooden box. Like,
it's like thousands of dollars. Caskets are a freaking scam.
Yes.
I'm sorry to the funeral planners of the world, but y'all know y'all are out here charging so much money for funerals.
Yeah.
And a lot of it
crazy.
Is casket and flowers. Both things, like one of them is going to be buried and the other one's going to die.
Exactly. And in this scenario, we're already dead.
We're dead. Don't give me, like, I love flowers. I think they are gorgeous, but don't waste that money buying all those floral arrangements.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Give that to charity.
Yes.
Like, I really want some thought out things in my funeral like that, where it's like, don't spend the money on that. Like, there will be amazing food and all that, of course, but like, I don't want it to feel like a funeral.
No, me either.
I told my friend the other day, I was like, we should make a pact that like at each other's funeral, like however it works out, that we like dress in all black with sunglasses and an umbrella and we stand off in the distance watching so that our families think that we had some big stuff going on.
I mean, that's incredible.
So I feel like I would love for you to do that at my funeral.
Oh my God.
A white man in all black with an umbrella.
And they're going to go, what is he doing here?
And he's just watching the funeral.
And I keep putting my like finger up to my mouth saying, shh. Like Like I just need a moment alone. And I have a full parasol.
Yes.
And I'm in that suit I was talking about that I hate. I'm wearing that kind of suit.
And gym
but
shorts
I'm in
at the bottom.
And gym shorts, because it's like it's hot. It's like, it's not, I don't know if it's hot, but I'm hot in this like situation. And I'm like, oh my God, everybody shush. And they're like, why? How do you know her? And I'll go, just shake my head and just kind of like, I'll give that signal where it's like, oh, he mustn't speak English, which will add to the mystery.
More mystery. But also, I need one solid tear to fall.
Oh, you will get it.
Make sure that happens.
Get it.
And
yes.
Also grab one of the vials with the ashes.
100%. And if it's vice versa, I want the absolute same from you.
Already committed.
You better be bottling up that tear.
Already committed to the role, honey. I am not going to miss out on that opportunity.
No.
But listen, I think that funerals, that's like the bare minimum of like the headache of death. I have a friend who lost her sister last year. And so she was like, no one prepared me for all of the things that I needed to do to like close out her life. Mm-hmm. Bank accounts. She had to sell her house. Just all of these things that you're literally still mourning and reeling from the fact that you lost this person. And you're having to like box her life up so that you can sell her home. You're having to, call the car dealerships and the bills. And it's just like, what an agonizing thing to have to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm dealing with the death itself, but I'm also dealing with literal paperwork.
Yeah. And that's just, you're just not prepared for that.
I feel like there needs to be like a job for that.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like the way that they have, you can hire somebody to plan the funeral. Like, can I hire somebody to like take care of
services?
Like, to take care of all of their loose ends? Like, is that a business?
I mean, it should be.
We need to look into this because
should we start an LLC?
I think we should. It's sounding like a business.
I mean, it really does, because there's so many things that like cleaning out a house, helping organize different like paperwork, closing out accounts.
Like
it's a never-ending list.
Yes, there's so many things, and then just like ensuring that there's no like weird identity theft and all that. Like we might have ourselves a business.
We might be making money on death. Think about it.
Yeah, I already have a couple of really cute names.
Which is actually kind of important when it comes to this.
Honestly, it's got to be a quirky name, just like any type of coffee shop that you would find.
100%. This is like coffee, but for
gentrified
dying.
Neighborhoods.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Only us, Adam. Only us.
Only us, and only on this podcast. That is absolutely for sure.
Listen, in the topic of normalizing death, Adam, what do you feel most like we are normalizing?
Well, I think the only thing we really normalized was having a conversation like this, because it's really weird. It's really uncomfortable. Sometimes religion can get brought into it. It's inevitable, which sometimes can also be an uncomfortable conversation. But I think it's actually, I feel really good about the conversation we had, because it's nice to talk about those thoughts of like what you think, and knowing that those fears that you might think, or those, suspicions of what you think happens next, that you can talk to somebody about that. So I think that that's great.
Be alone in your crazy thoughts of your spirits.
What about you? What do you think we've normalized?
First of all, I think we have very much normalized the fact that we all are dying right now as we speak.
We are currently.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. No, I do think that the preparation and like feeling the pressure of having all of that together, let's normalize not.
Yes.
And let the chips fall where they may. When I'm dead and burned to ashes and in a vial being floated and thrown across the Adriatic Sea.
Chucked across even.
Yeah, I'm gingerly toss me. Don't just throw me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sprinkle me, if you will.
Yes, noted.
Off the island of Capri. I don't think I'm going to be thinking about y'all fighting over the $25,000 that I left behind. I hope I leave behind more than that. I'm just saying.
That's just for one person because you're doing like payments to as many people on Earth as you can.
Possible. Yes. A lot of it will go into charity. I need somebody to ensure that. But just kind of normalizing, maybe not stressing yourself out about it because you'll be dead.
Exactly.
So who cares?
Dead. Toast even.
But then our other point about like being left with tying the loose ends.
As I'm like confirming, yes, there'll be many.
Yeah, but count on me and Adam to come up with that business with a very cute name. And handle it for you so that you really won't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
But yeah, death is so mysterious and unknown. Let's not stress about it.
Yeah.
Let's just live.
That. Let's not stress. You know what we should do?
What?
We should play Keep It or Curb It.
I knew you were going to say that. Let's do it.
So we have our jingle, which I would love to sing with you, which is
Keep it or Curb It.
And
I
pretty
really
incredible.
try to like hesitate so that you would also come in at the same time as me, but you never do.
Well, I'm not known for my timing when it comes to this specific jingle.
That's very clear.
But if this is your first time listening to this podcast, first of all, welcome. Thank you for sticking around after our death talk.
Yeah. Very, very strong. You are.
You are so
strong ears, strong heart.
But so Keep It or Curb It is the segment where we take a look at social trends and we decide if they're worth keeping with a K or curbing with a C, because that's how you spell it. Really good, right?
So good.
Thank you. So, Danielle, I would love to go first. So, this Keep It or Curb It.
Yes.
According to our friends at Pew Research.
Yes.
Pew, our favorite. The COVID-19 pandemic, ever heard of it? Prompted many Americans to find love on dating apps and websites.
Yes, me and Adam.
Yes,
we
literally
were prompted.
Us. Yes, we were. And we are Americans, so this is about us. So now that we are 3 years into a are we or aren't we pandemic, about 47% of U.S. adults say it's been somewhat important to them that their profiles that they're looking at include someone's COVID-19 vaccination status. So, Danielle, I must ask, should we keep or curb having potential suitors on dating apps have their vaccination status on profiles? Let's dig in.
Oh my goodness. I am a COVID-19. Like, I'm an eraser. I'm like erasing it. I really want it to be done. And I know it's so mean and rude considering so many lives have been lost and so many people are still dealing with COVID, but it's like, is it done yet?
I know.
It's just very, But you know what? In the midst of it, in like 2020 and 2021, I very much needed you to tell me about your vaccination status.
I needed to know in the pandemic.
I needed it. I could not function without it. It felt very gross if someone was offended by it or if someone told me they don't believe in it. I just was very like, swipe left.
Yes.
So I think like as the time has continued, as I have, oh my gosh, am I going to admit this on this podcast? I've stopped wearing masks. My mama is probably just shaking.
I mean, wait. So in your defense, I mean, I wear them if I have to, if it's like if I'm going to the doctor's office or if I have an appointment like that. But otherwise, I will say that like if I'm going to the grocery store or something, I don't.
I haven't been wearing my mask to appointments. I mean, to a doctor's appointments, yes, but to any other place, no. And I feel really bad saying that. I feel very guilty saying that. And maybe I don't know. Maybe there's something
but wait,
to this
Danielle,
feeling.
in these places, I'm guessing that you're of the 90% of other people who aren't wearing masks either. Is that correct?
That is me. I feel really guilty about it. I think, it's very much still happening.
Mm-hmm.
We are still being ravaged by this thing, but I think I can't even put words to it just because I feel so guilty that I'm no longer taking a lot of the same precautions. Like I haven't washed my groceries off in like a year plus.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a lot of things that I've stopped doing. But when it comes to like dating nowadays, I also like someone's vaccination status is not at the front of my mind.
Agreed.
They're like whether or not they have an STD, like that is a status I very much care about. But I'm not as militant as I was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I literally feel just as bad saying that as I do by saying that I haven't been wearing my mask.
Well, I will say that the need to show your vaccination card is totally almost gone. I only show it if there's a
pull that out
production to get onto or something. They're requiring it, right?
Yeah.
And that's the only time that it's needed. So it's not at the front of our minds anymore.
It's not. And I mean, I'm a girl that took a booster shot so that I could go to work on the carpet at the Oscars. So I've been, and if I had to do it again and take another booster, I would do that because I want that job. Like I want to work the carpet at the Oscars, but I just don't think I need to have your vaccination status when it comes to dating. So I feel so much guilt by saying I'm going to curb it.
I think that like we can curb it, but I think that you should be taking the precautions that you think that you need to. Like I still make sure that like when I can get a booster, I get a booster. I think I'm going to be on like,
and I'm still washing my hands soon. For the entire chorus of Love on Top.
Oh, thank God.
Are you ready for the next keep it or curb it?
I'm ready.
And are you curbing?
I'm curbing it. I think that it's just not at the front of our minds right now, but I think that I'm keeping that we still get vaccinated, but I don't think that I need to know anymore.
Keep safety precautions. And maybe we'll put our mask on a little bit more, Adam. Let's do that.
Now I'm feeling like, yeah, I should.
I still have like a pack of 600. So here we are.
Me too. I have a pack in my car always just in case. Okay,
I have them by the door.
Yeah.
AMC Theaters announced that they will be upping their prices depending on where a moviegoer wants to sit. Because don't nobody like to sit in that front row with your neck craned all the way up. Those seats will cost less. Mm-hmm. The middle seats will cost more. And the remaining parts of the theater, aka the back where we like to sit, will be standard ticket admission. Movie theaters have been struggling to get moviegoers in theaters with streaming services because, like, who wants to put on a bra and go to the movies anymore?
Not me.
And Hollywood they're making less releases in theaters. A lot of stuff is in the stream. Mm-hmm. And AMC has also lost over $700 million in their first 3 quarters of 2022. Oof. That is a lot of money to lose. AMC, I feel you on upping the price. Yeah. So should we keep or curb the raising of prices depending on the seat?
First of all, I hate it. But
I literally hate it. I thought that I would be okay with it considering that like where I like to sit would stay the same price. But I do also like the option of giving the people who are sitting in the front a lesser price ticket.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I think that I'm okay with that. And I also think that there needs to be this sort of like better distinguishment between what should go in a movie theater and what should be on a streaming service. Because it just seems the lines feel so blurred of like, should I just wait to see that, at home or like, I don't know.
I think the movies is one of those things that I'm hoping doesn't become like what a lot of like our favorite things have become, like relics, like reading books. And
I don't want the movies to go away.
And newspapers and magazines. Like, I'm like, no, that's one thing that we should keep because there's a feeling, a vibe, a fellowship of watching a movie in the theater.
Yes.
And I know people have their own home theaters and all kinds of amazing things and projectors and whatever. But I don't know. There's something really nostalgic and beautiful about like walking into the movie theater and smelling the popcorn.
Yes.
And I'm a movie goer. I love going to the movies. I have a season's pass at the Alamo, which is one of my favorite theaters. Shout out to the Boozy Milkshakes. So I like going to the movies.
Yes.
I don't feel like I'm ever going to stop actually going to the movie.
Yeah, I actually haven't been to the movies in like 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Not out of fear or anything. It's just like
I've been.
I want to go. I mean, like I'm like
I've
really
been
motivated.
Several times. I was so excited when they opened theaters back up.
Yeah, you were first in line holding an empty bucket.
The first movie that I saw back in theaters with my mask on was the second Quiet Place.
And were you so happy to be in the back row?
Oh my God. It just felt so good to be in there and to watch a movie. And I love the movies. I feel like Steven Spielberg, a young Steven Spielberg.
And I think that they need to do like more things. I think that, this is a great idea. And I'm willing to just put it out there that like when shows have episodes coming out and stuff, they should offer that like in theater. Like they should offer, when everybody was ready for like that last season finale episode of White Lotus.
Yeah, if
there should have been like
HBO did a screening.
Oh my God.
Because they do those sometimes with premieres like of certain shows. They'll have a premiere that's in a theater. But I love the idea of a show that's like on. And it's like, let's watch the finale. Adam, another idea.
And it's a place to go. Like, it's a place to go to watch this and to be able to all talk about it together. Like, I think that's
and have
really
a little
cool.
talk back afterwards. I could host it. I feel that.
Oh my God.
Let's put that one on the list of things to do this year. But are we keeping or curbing the theaters raising their prices? Listen, I will pay more for a nice luxurious reclining seat and a place where I can order, a full meal and a drink. So I'm not opposed to like paying more, but I think that it's kind of rude.
Yeah, I hate the idea, but if I was paying more, I would like it.
If I was paying more, like I need for my experience to be more, not the same movie experience that I need. Am I in an iPic theater now? Is like,
right.
You know what I mean? AMC, like, what are you giving me?
Yeah, tell me.
Not the same seats, girl.
No.
Does it recline?
Are you giving me popcorn? Are you delivering it to me?
Right. Like, there's got to be
That's what I want to know.
They're like, girl, no, we raising the prices because we broke.
I go, oh, okay. See you in the back seat.
Paying the same price. So we're going to curb that, AMC.
Yeah.
Thank you. So sorry for your loss. For your 700 million loss. That is horrible.
I know. That's so much money.
Whew, that's so much money. That's how much I'm going to be worth when I die.
And you're just giving out $25,000
to a lot of people.
Okay.
Not just one.
Very fair.
You're going to get some if you play your cards right.
If I keep playing my cards right, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Adam, what a heavy, but like somehow light, necessary conversation about death. Oof.
It was heavy. It was light. And,
it was you just gonna repeat what I said and I go,
yeah. What a heavy conversation, but somehow light. Danielle, take it away.
What was your favorite takeaway other than you taking away everything I say?
My favorite takeaway, I think that my favorite takeaway was just having the conversation that like I don't have with my friends about death or like,
that
afterlife. I thought that was great.
I feel like I could do that. Like,
yes,
not in a weird way, but just definitely broke the seal, but just be like, I want to now hear what they think about what we'll see, what we'll do, what will happen after we die. So I think that's it. Yeah, definitely something we have opened up for ourselves. I think my favorite takeaway was the information I provided about loving a white man at the start of this episode. Leonardo DiCaprio, I still love you, boo.
And what a great way to end.
Listen. I think that is the best way to.
I agree. Is loving a white man.
And also, I just want to let you know, thank you for listening, white man, and all the other people who are listening. Make sure that you are rating, commenting, and subscribing to Normalize This wherever you listen to your podcast, and continue to reach out to us on social media to let us know what you want to see normalized. We're loving the fact that you are doing that. Thank you for sharing amazing ideas. Continue to do that. My handles on Instagram is the Danielle Young and Twitter at Rapsodanny. Adam, where can they at you at?
Well, on Twitter, I'm at Adam Rippon, and on Instagram, I'm at Ada Rip. And like Danielle said, we love getting the DMs. Thank you so much. Keep them coming. The DMs. And you have to keep letting us know if you think of any topics that you'd like us to normalize. Obviously, we are the professional. We are the echelon, the upper echelon of normalization. And Danielle, that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you for another great conversation. You are my favorite.
I am your favorite.
Yes, you are. You are. And you listening, you are also my favorite.
Yeah.
And until then, I will not be paying the extra prices at AMC.
Period. Okay?
Period. Yes. And we love you. Bye.
Bye. Everyone out there listening, we want to hear from you. Make sure you follow at Make SpringHill on all platforms for weekly show updates.